Super NPR and the following message come from Vimeo Create. You don't have to be an expert to create high-quality videos for your business. Add clips, pick a template, and let the smart tools of Vimeo Create handle the rest. More at vimeo.com/create.
Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the Division of Higher Education here at Car Talk Plaza. Everyone knows we're interested in higher education.
We certainly are.
And now that we're into September, here's a story that's certain to be of interest. This is from the Detroit Free Press. Northwood University offers a degree in automotive marketing. This is an actual university, and they actually offer a major in automotive sales. So our crack staff rode away to Northwood University and has obtained an actual copy of the course catalog. And my brother will read you a few excerpts from the required course list. Go for it.
We just took these right out of the catalog. Here's one. Psychology 202. The effectiveness of sartorial patterns on purchase decisions. Plaid pants and you. Professor Iacocca will delve into the effect that different patterns can have on purchase and upsell decisions. Do wider plaids encourage power options? Do gingham plaids affect leather seat sales? Does wool or polyester affect closing rate? Prerequisite, Sociology 201, white belts, and luxury purchase intentions.
Here's another. Economics 301, market timing strategies. When to say, I have to go talk to my sales manager. Professor R. Smith.
R. Smith?
Yeah, R.
Who could that be? We don't know.
Professor R. Smith will explore the delicate art of timing. When is the appropriate moment during a negotiation to relinquish authority to a fictitious supervisor? How to make sure you are completely out of sight during this ploy so the customer will not see you having a cigarette by yourself and leafing through Newsweek. When is the exact
Marvel Comics.
When is the exact right moment to throw in the free floor mats? Several theories will be thoroughly tested and evaluated through role play and with the help of guest lecturers. Prerequisite, Psych 101, the art of lying.
I like it. English 107, advanced rhetorical analysis. How to answer questions without the benefit of facts. Like unencumbered by the thought process.
Did you take that course?
Memorization of several dozen vocabulary words will be required, as they will then be used in an improvisational manner to respond to subjects on automotive, economic, and foreign policy topics. Sounds like a good course. Prerequisite, English 102. Basic motor skills, lip and tongue coordination.
And is the last one, Math 206, getting to 40,000. Creative addition techniques are discussed, along with such tools as exterior and interior packages, pinstriping, little-known state and federal fees, and dealer prep costs. The semester concludes with an overview of advanced numerical obfuscation theory and spontaneous acronym creation. Guest lecturers will come from major auction houses, Vegas gaming establishments, and money-losing internet companies. Prerequisite, Math 104, calculating your commission while talking.
I'm signed. Where is this place? Northwood University in Detroit. Wow.
Yeah. Their lawyers are online too, or what?
The Dean of Admissions wants us. It's a John Mongan letter.
Guest lecturers. If you'd like to talk to us about your car or perhaps enrollment in Northwood College, the number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, my name's Roseanna. I'm in San Francisco.
Hi, Roseanne.
Roseanne.
A at the end.
Roseanna. Roseanna Dana.
Exactly.
Excellent. From where? San Francisco?
San Francisco, California.
Yeah.
What's going on?
You got a car?
You know what? I have my friend's car for the summer.
Did you burn the clutch out?
Exactly what I was going to ask.
No, it's an automatic.
It is.
It is. It's a 97 or 98 Subaru Outback Sport.
Yeah.
And I was driving back from work the other day, and I heard a kind of ringing noise coming from under the car.
Yeah.
I noticed a man in a
maybe you ran over a cell phone user. We hope.
I noticed a man in a shopping cart rolling toward me, and I thought, oh, that's making the noise. But then about a mile later, it was still there.
Yeah.
So that wasn't it. It stops whenever I stop the car at a stop sign or a stoplight. It stops when I make turns. But once I straighten the car back out again, I hear the ringing. It's almost like a metal sound dragging on the ground.
But you have to be moving pretty much or revving up the engine a little bit to hear it?
Moving.
Moving.
Yeah.
Moving.
Have you tried just revving up the engine without moving? For example, leaving it in park or neutral?
I didn't try that.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
I'm not very good at diagnostics.
Yeah. Well, that'll mean we'll have to give you two answers.
Okay.
Well,
One for moving and one for revving.
Okay.
I'm prepared with only one answer.
No, you're not.
I am? I'm not?
Oh, all right. Well,
You
sure.
give your answer, and I'll give my answer.
Yeah.
And you'll obviously give the other one.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have two answers.
I have two.
I mean, you may have two more.
Oh, I
Because
may.
one of yours may not be mine.
Yeah. Wouldn't that
Right?
be interesting? Then we'd have three, wouldn't we?
There you go. Well, my answer is that you have a loose heat shield. And what
Okay.
you're hearing is the little sheet metal of the heat shield rattling, and it's a benign little noise.
And where is the heat shield located?
The heat shield on this
It's
car...
on the outside of the re-entry rockets.
Right.
You had me writing that down.
We knew that. No, the heat shield is everywhere. The heat shield runs from stem to stern on the exhaust system on this car.
Okay.
It starts virtually at the engine, and there are heat shields wrapped around the front exhaust pipe and the intermediate pipe and the catalytic converter and the tailpipe, you name it. There's a
Okay.
heat shield, and it could be any one of those heat shields that's come loose and is making this annoying little noise.
And that's 99% probably right
And
answer.
you can corroborate that by sitting there with the car in neutral or park and revving up the engine, and you will get the noise without actually being in motion.
I will get the noise.
I think so.
Okay.
But now my brother's prepared to give you 6 or
Sure.
7 other answers.
That was my first answer, and the second one is if in fact you rev it up and you can't get the noise unless you really are moving,
Okay.
then that probably isn't it.
Okay.
Then you might have a little, I don't know, a backing plate that's bent and maybe a rotor is just barely touching it.
Or you could have a pebble stuck in there.
Pebble stuck between
You haven't
them.
been to Pebble Beach or anything like that, have
No,
you?
haven't been
No.
out there recently.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I think that you can get the noise even when you're not moving, and that it's
Okay.
going to be the heat
So
shield.
when are you returning this car?
At the end of the week.
End of the week.
Oh, good. The sooner
Don't-
the sooner the better, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. There was a little
I
bit of...
wouldn't even mention it.
Oh, no, you have to. You have to give whoever you borrowed it from a full report.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really?
I agree.
Here's why I wouldn't say anything. Because how long you've had the car all summer?
Yep.
The person who was stupid enough to let you drive his car or her car is going to get in the car and not having driven it for 3 months or so is going to hear 5 other noises which he's going to blame you for. So why add another one? If you say, oh, it makes sense, little tinkle, tinkle noise, he's going to say, yeah, well, what about the thunking noise when you hit a bump? What about the noise I hear when I take a left turn?
What about the rose bush that's stuck to the left front
Right,
fender?
it didn't make any of those noises when I gave you the car, and you're going to end up paying for a transmission, CV joints, wheel bearings.
Oh, here's what you do. Arrange to be out of town when he returns.
Oh, smart.
Right?
Unavailable.
Give him 3 or 4 days to sort things out, and you have to be
Okay.
incommunicado. You have to be someplace.
Okay.
You disappear.
Okay.
Can't be
Okay.
found. Where's
And-
Roseanna? Don't know.
You know what's
Out.
good too?
Out of town.
Return it on a day when you're having storms.
Oh,
Rain
yeah.
and thunder, especially
You know-
loud thunder.
And hope that
I
he
was
crashes
thinking
it
of
on the way.
I was thinking of leaving the radio volume up really loud.
We try that at the shop all
that
the time.
doesn't work.
Yeah, but get the heat shield looked at if you want to get rid of this. If this is the only thing,
Yeah,
take it
that's
to
the
a
only
gas station, and if they can duplicate the noise, they can probably tighten it up or put a little weld on it.
Okay.
Yeah, chewing gum works.
Yeah, that
Okay.
too.
For a
I was
day.
going to say duct tape, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
See you, Roseanna.
Okay,
Thanks for your
thanks.
call.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See, if they had high temperature chewing gum, that would work.
We have that. 1-888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. A lawyer on Car Talk.
Hi, my name's Art from Tinley Park.
Hey, Art.
All right, from where? Tinley?
Tinley Park, Illinois. It's a south suburb of Chicago.
Oh,
And I've got a problem with my 1990 Montero.
yeah.
It's got a steering box up front.
Yes.
And it's a little loose. I tightened the adjuster up, and the steering got a lot better.
What when you say
It's power assist.
the steering is loose, not the steering box.
Well, the steering box, like the play in the wheel, is extra. All the ball joints are tight. It's got
Yeah.
new shocks. The tires are good.
Well, you have to be careful when you assess this play. When you turn the wheel, if you hold the wheel put your hand at 12 o'clock,
Right.
and you go back and forth, from, say, 11 to 1, or in my brother's case, from like 3 to 9. Okay, but if you just go chook, 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 back and forth with that frequency, you can have an assistant do that while you look down below. And you may find out that your pitman arm is worn out or some such thing. It may not be in the box. But let's assume it is in the box.
Yeah, everything looks right. The arm is tight, and all the linkage, because I had the skid plates off and stuff.
So you looked.
So you actually jacked it up, and you actually moved the wheels back and forth, and you actually saw that the tie rod ends were not flopping around.
Right.
Good.
And I've actually had it to the dealer, but they told me that the steering box is bad. What they didn't tell me was exactly how much they charged to fix it, and I kind of don't.
Oh, you don't want to know.
Yeah, well, I know a new one's $2,000, and they said in the neighborhood of $500 would probably do it. So I'm guessing closer to like $800 or $900.
So they're going to rebuild it for $500.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Wow.
But my real question is, because I know it's at least got to be attended to, is there's a shop here, a power steering specialty shop, that says they can do it for $250. And I'm wondering if that's just too good to be true.
Well,
are they going to do it with mostly black paint?
No.
Yeah, some black spray paint and 2 new bolts on the top there to make it look right.
Yeah. Wow.
Jeez.
So,
what are they
going to
do?
Is $250 sounding like just too good to be true, or?
Well, I mean, I have to say that $2,000 sounds so ridiculous and unreasonable.
I know. That and 4 tires, and you got the new price of the car.
And even $500 or $600 sounds a little bit outrageous. So I'm a little bit reluctant to dismiss the $250 as being completely out of whack.
Because the way I figured that was the price if I just bring him the box.
You got to give him a shot. I mean, you just got to. I mean, it's like 1/10 of what it should be.
Yeah. Tell him to do it twice.
I mean,
And
it's
then
nothing to take
the box. Spent the right amount of money.
The box comes right out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to take it out, you're going to bring it to him.
Right.
And he's going to give you back a rebuilt one.
Yeah.
No, he's going to give you back the same one.
He rebuilt mine.
Yeah.
He rebuilt mine.
And I believe he can certainly do that for $250. Don't forget, I mean, we're not talking rocket science here.
Yeah.
This is not a very, very complex piece of equipment.
And the worst thing that can happen is that the steering locks up and you crash and you die. I mean, that's the absolute
my
worst.
next question. I've got 2 trips coming up that I'd like to take it on. And I was wondering, is it likely that it would stop turning one way or the other all of a sudden?
Geez, I suppose it could.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would let him do it before you go take your trip.
Before you go. Okay.
Good luck, Art.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your information.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Good talking to you.
See ya. Bye-bye. 1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Millie Kirkwood. I'm calling you from Plano, Texas.
Millie.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Plano is a good place, isn't it?
Oh, you've heard of it.
I think we were there once.
I was in Plano, yeah.
Oh, super.
I spent a weekend there
No,
one
that
night.
was Drano.
That was Drano, Texas. That's on the other side of Dallas.
No, you can't say things like that about any places.
And even though pioneers heading west in their covered wagons turn north toward Canada whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
This message comes from Car Talk and NPR sponsor BetterHelp, a truly affordable online counseling service. Fill out a questionnaire online and get matched with a licensed counselor best suited to your mental health needs. Whether it's depression, anxiety, or trauma, BetterHelp will help you overcome what stands in the way of your happiness. Learn more at BetterHelp.com and get 10% off your first month with promo code CARTALK. BetterHelp. Get help anytime, anywhere.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from CFP, Certified Financial Planner Professionals. CFP professionals are trained to provide holistic financial planning in your best interest. Visit letsmakeaplan.org to find your CFP professional.
I'm Lisa Hagen.
And I'm Chris Haxel. We're the hosts of No Compromise, NPR's new podcast exploring one family's mission to reconstruct America using 2 powerful tools, guns and Facebook.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Join us for the No Compromise podcast from NPR.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and lists, like Franz and his brother Fred.
Yeah. I mean, all these lists come around the internet, and some of them are really very good. Here's one, real excuses received by school teachers. Whole list of things. I picked out my favorites. Please excuse Roland from PE for a few days. Yesterday he fell out of a tree and misplaced his hip. Please excuse Ray Friday from school. He has very loose vowels. Now this is the most creative. Please excuse Jennifer for missing school yesterday. We forgot to get the Sunday paper off the porch, and when we found it Monday, we thought it was Sunday. That's that list. This is the one that this is fun things to do in an elevator. And there's a whole list of them, including stare grinning at another passenger for a while and then say, I've got new socks on. Crack open your briefcase or purse and while peering inside say, you got enough air in there? And my personal favorite, grimace painfully while smacking your forehead and muttering, shut up, damn it, all of you just shut up. Elevators are great.
You have a captive audience.
You sure do.
Right. It's
well,
like performing in front of prisoners.
I'm happy to all the people on the internet who have nothing to do and can put together lists like this.
Do you realize this is going to be the undoing of our civilization, the internet?
Yeah.
Oh, because it has diminished productivity to the point where we're.
Well, that's okay. As you know, we've always been proponents of decreased productivity.
Oh, I have certainly. And we've done our bit with our website because you can kill hours.
Oh. I mean, there is nothing more useless.
We say proudly.
Proudly. Yeah. And in fact, we will, of course, post these on the site so that if you didn't hear them or you want to hear the ones that I didn't like, you too can
share them.
Yeah.
And you can post them on your website when you get them.
Sure.
In the meantime, if you want to give us a call, our number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Hani from Alexandria, Virginia.
Who?
Hani.
Hani?
Yes.
Oh, my brother's been there a few times, but his wife usually...
It's a problem name. I've had it for a lot of years. I've always had problems with it.
How do you spell that?
Spelled Hanni. It's a good German name.
Oh, H-A. This could get you in a lot of trouble. Hi, I'm Hani.
Yes.
If you lived in Boston, it would get you in more trouble because we don't use R's.
Oh, yeah, they'd be all over. Never mind.
R's have been banned from the language here in our fifth
R's
city.
are really unnecessary, except as first letters.
Well, in this case, we know that it could keep her out of trouble.
Yes.
Or maybe have... I don't know. Who says it's trouble?
Never mind. You be the life of the party anyway.
Good.
So what's up, honey?
Well, I've got this 85 Toyota Camry with 150,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
In the last few months, it's been the weirdest thing. When I go to work in the morning, I drive about 4 or 5 miles. I cross the disintegrating Wilson Bridge, and then I head up a series of hills. And right then, the car starts to lose its power. And I'm going around 70 miles an hour because you have to keep up with all the traffic, rush hour traffic on the Beltway. So I'm going 70 miles an hour, and it drops down to 65, 60, 55, 50, till I'm down to like 40 miles an hour.
Automatic transmission?
No, standard. And so I'm chugging up these hills. And when
Four-door?
Yes.
Is it white?
No.
All right.
What color is it?
It's a burgundy red.
Okay. Burgundy red.
I probably held you up in traffic somewhere, haven't I?
Not a Cabernet Sauvignon red?
It's a Merlot red.
How about a Montepulciano red?
Is it from Chagny, France?
So anyway, when I finally get to like the top of a hill, or at some point, maybe even during going up these hills, he'll decide that it's to regain power, and then the front end of the car just starts to shake and shudder, and I can't accelerate too fast because I feel like the car is going to fall apart.
No, all this time that it's decelerating, that it's slowing down.
Yes.
Are you remaining in fifth gear?
I have gone down to fourth. I've shifted into third. It makes no difference.
So
and we've tried different things because I thought, well, maybe I needed a tune-up, so it's got all new spark plugs and all new wires, or new rotor cap and distributor.
You've had a professional looking at this?
It is now in the garage.
It's at the Toyota garage?
No.
Volkswagen garage?
No. it's just a service center that they work on all kinds of cars, and they think maybe it's a slipped clutch and a fuel filter. But when they brought up the slipped clutch theory, they asked me if my RPMs were revving up at the time when I was struggling up the hill.
And they're not.
And it doesn't.
No, it's not the clutch.
Oh, thank you.
But that was a good theory.
It is.
What is it?
Well, they haven't changed the fuel filter yet, and it's certainly when whoever did the tune-up, the fuel filter should have been changed.
Okay.
And it's very possible that that's what it is.
Okay.
You could easily have a restricted or partially plugged catalytic converter.
Yes, you could.
But what you more likely than not have the Toyota Camry syndrome.
TCS.
Which is what?
And see, if you had taken this to a Toyota dealer,
they would have immediately ushered you into the new car showroom.
And said, oh, you've got TCS.
And what that is, it is a condition where the carbon deposits in the valve train get heated up and expanded and prevent the valves from closing all the way.
So that you basically, as you're driving up this hill, have less and less compression.
Okay.
So it's like you need a valve job.
Oh my God, that's expensive.
And it'll happen when the engine gets its hottest.
Okay.
So it'll happen climbing a hill in the daytime. It won't happen if in some cases, even if you climb that same hill in the same direction at night, because it's cooler at night.
Are you serious that this can't be fixed?
No, it can't be fixed. It usually can be fixed with a chemical additive.
Okay.
In fact, if you can find a repair shop in your area that has something called a motor vac, it's a machine that's sold by Snap-on dealers, Snap-on tool dealers to unsuspecting garage owners.
You got one?
Yeah. I have two of them. No, it actually works very well for this, and it'll clean the carbon deposits out of the valve train and make the thing run like a new car.
Great.
And if this guy doesn't understand what to do with this, then you may be forced to go to the dealer because they definitely will know.
Okay.
And consider adding another letter to your name. See ya.
Thank you much.
Honey. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Well, it did.
It's everyone's dream. Hello, I'm Honey.
Well, she didn't even say Honey. She said,
I died and gone there.
She said, hello, I'm Honey. If you play the tape back, she said, hello.
She did say that.
Hello, I'm Honey.
She did say that.
And we said, whoa. Of course, when she announced herself, two of us immediately said, well, hi there.
Hi there. Come here often.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, my name is Klaus. I'm calling from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Klaus.
Yeah, I drive a Volkswagen Fox 89.
Yeah.
And I think I have two questions basically. The one thing is, I made this trip to New York and to Washington D.C. and stuff, and I put some money into the car before then. And when I came back, I pulled into the driveway. It was a Sunday night at midnight, and I wanted to just start, half an hour later to go to the grocery store and get some groceries, and I couldn't put in any gear when the engine was running.
Oh.
I'm a physicist, so my own investigation resulted in the following thoughts.
Hypothesis. You have a hypothesis.
Exactly.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay.
The one thing is, I can shift the gears when the engine is not running. I cannot shift gears when the engine is running. I mean, no gear at all.
Right. Therefore, right, this is a little syllogism. Therefore.
Therefore. Exactly. Therefore.
I must learn to drive without the engine running.
Well, that's what I did actually. Because,
it's called coasting.
Because I was at the grocery store then, and I stopped the engine, put in the first gear, and cranked it up until it was running, the car.
Yeah.
It was hopping a little bit forward, but then it was going, and there was no traffic.
Yeah.
And, so I adjusted the revolution so that I could get into second, and this brought me home again.
Yes.
Very good. I think that the clutch isn't opening anymore for some reason.
Very good, Klaus.
You have come to the correct conclusion.
The clutch is no longer disengaging, and that's why, in fact, you've probably figured out that once you're moving, you can actually shift it to second, third, and fourth pretty easily. But that first gear and reverse are killers, and they require that you shut the thing off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Is it seriously that, the clutch just totally died on me, or is there any other reason that could have gone wrong?
There's another reason, and if you're lucky, this is what it is. It's possible that the clutch cable has stretched. There's a cable that runs from the pedal down to the arm that holds the clutch release bearing.
And if you have led a good, clean life, you can replace that for $30.
Oh, wow.
So you actually, the part probably, if you go to a Volkswagen dealer, it probably costs $20 or something, $20, $30.
Well, I'm assuming he's going to do it himself.
You are going to do it yourself. It's actually pretty easy to do.
Oh, okay.
And it requires that you get under the dashboard and disconnect the cable from the pedal. And there's a very simple hook there that hooks it onto the pedal. It's even a physicist can do this. And then the other end has a bunch of little clips and a little rubber grommet, but it's all obvious. I would take a picture of it, however.
I actually, how do I know that it is stretched? Because
you don't. The way you know is you put a new one in.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll adjust it so that the pedal feels normal. When you're sitting in the driver's seat, you should be able to push that pedal about an inch with very little resistance. And then the remaining distance requires considerable effort.
Oh, I see.
So you want to adjust that. There's an adjustment on the cable, and you'll figure out how to do that.
Right.
There's a nut you have to turn. And when you've done this and adjusted it, and the pedal feels like a normal pedal should feel,
then you start it up and you step on the clutch, and it'll slide right into first gear. It'll slide right in.
And if it doesn't, then you need to replace the clutch.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I bought the car for $1,300. I put in $300, and if I have to replace the clutch, it would be another $400 or $500.
More, but that's okay.
Yeah, roundabout, I guess. So I was thinking, is it worthwhile because it has 16,000 miles on it and so forth to do that, or is it just it's getting close to becoming $1,800, $2,000 car?
Yeah. So what? That's cheap. That's cheap.
So?
Oh, what's the alternative? The alternative is that you take it to the junkyard. They give you $25 for it. Because no one in his right mind is going to drive a car that he can't shift. So even if you were going to sell it, you'd have to replace the clutch.
And we are bound by our affiliation with ARTA, the Automobile Repair Technicians of America, to encourage people to fix their cars whenever possible.
That's right. And if we ever recommended anything other than that, we would be summarily
drummed out
of the organization,
and no longer able to attend the annual seat cover convention in Dayton
and the boat show. Seat cover and boat show.
See you, Klaus. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Rosie from Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Hey, Rosie, how you doing?
But I should tell you that my roots are in your fair city.
Oh,
no
really?
Kidding?
Yes.
Where did you live?
Well, my parents met working at the Harvard Science Library. She was the librarian, and he was a security guard.
Oh, really?
No kidding.
Yes.
And they moved to Ypsilanti, Michigan.
So he knew where all the unused rooms were.
Yep.
Excellent.
Anyway, so now you're in Ypsilanti.
Yes.
Cool.
What's up?
Well, I have a 95 Saturn, and I have a dispute with my husband that I'm hoping you can help me with.
Where'd you meet him?
I met him right here in good old Ypsilanti.
No kidding.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, what's the dispute?
Yeah, we'll help.
Well, he thinks that it is a problem for the car if you have, the cooling system. He thinks that it will hurt the car by engaging both systems if you have the temperature control toward the middle and not at either extreme.
In other words, I know. He thinks it's wearing out the air conditioner if you blend in some heat with it by not having the temperature selector all the way over to cold.
Right, so he always has it freezing or boiling.
Well, he's wrong.
All right.
Yeah, and he's bordering on nuts.
No, I mean, he's not. I don't think he's nuts. But he just thinks that the two systems are related to each other, and they're not.
Okay.
This is not unlike your house. If you had an air conditioner in the window, and the room was getting too cold.
But you couldn't regulate the air conditioner.
But you couldn't regulate it, and you didn't want to shut it off and then turn it back on and shut it off and turn it back on, and it didn't have any controls on it. There's nothing that says you couldn't then also turn on the heat. which is the big boiler down in the basement. It's got nothing to do with the thing in the window. And the car is pretty much the same way.
Okay.
And in both circumstances, the air conditioner is running full blast all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when your husband has the lever all the way over to cold and you're freezing in this car, it's because the air conditioner is running continuously. If you were then to introduce some heat to warm the temperature up a little bit, the air conditioner would still be running continuously, and it wouldn't be working any harder.
Okay.
And you're not wasting anything because you're making the heat for free. Almost. Because the heat is coming from the engine, the heat of the engine.
Okay.
So it's not as though you're wasting anything. Everything is working fine, and your husband's crazy.
All right.
You could control the temperature by turning the air conditioner on and off.
Or opening the window.
Yeah, that's what we do. We turn it on and off.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's okay, and that does use less energy.
Okay.
As long as you don't mess around with opening windows and closing windows. In other words, if you left the windows closed and you turned the air conditioner off when it started to get hot, you turned it back on, but that's a pain in the neck.
Right.
I would say find the temperature that you like and set it there and tell them to pick on you for something else.
Okay, I will.
See you, Rosie.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for calling.
All right, Tommy, look, it's time to take a break.
That's good. You look tired. You want a cup of coffee?
You know, as a matter of fact, I would.
Ah, well, while you're up, grab me a donut, will you?
Jerk. We'll be back in a minute.
And even though the Red Sox cross out the word Boston on their uniforms whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from Kay Bucksbaum in support of the David Gilkey and Zabiula Tamana Memorial Fund, established to strengthen NPR's commitment to training and protecting journalists in high-risk environments.
The way things are going right now, even if you can keep track of what's happening in the news, it's hard to know why it's happening, what it really means. That's why we have created a daily podcast that answers your questions about the news in about 10 minutes every weekday. It's called Consider This. New episodes every weekday afternoon from NPR.
Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and whatever it is.
Remember I made a statement one time, I forgot now the exact words. It's going to cost you $200, no matter what it is. It's going to cost you $200 if that's what it is.
I have that very motto hung up at the garage.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Well, dear Tom, this is from R.R. Miller from Woodland Hills, California. Dear Tom and Ray, since I don't presently have a life, I listen to your program often. But when I do get my own life, you can bet that I will look for other stations to tune to during the time your program is on. In the meantime, however, I do feel you can improve your program further, as discussed below. I refer to your statement that one may have to pay $200 to fix whatever it is that is wrong with the car, if that's what it is. But that is not the real problem in my view. The real problem that concerns many of us is to have to pay to fix the problem if that is not what it is.
Yes.
As this can be an even more significant cost factor. For example, to fix a rattling muffler may cost $200 if that's what it is. But if that is not what it is, and it is in fact a rattling camshaft, it could cost 10 times as much. You seem to ignore this important case. Therefore, can you please add your experience to this equation and expand your phrase to cover the complete case of fixing it, whether that is what it is or that is not. This would be a significant improvement in our understanding of car repair costs. Sincerely, R.R. Miller.
R.R. Miller. R.R. Miller has nothing to do with his time. Anyway, for those of you who are missing the puzzle right about now.
That wouldn't be me.
Oh, I know that.
Actually, that's not true. I mean, I do enjoy the puzzler. if only to watch you squirm when the hate mail starts flying.
Well, look, the Puzzler will be back in a few weeks. In the meantime, you can check out this week's archival Puzzler on the website, or if you have a car question, you give us a call at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255, although you're on Car Talk.
Hi, guys.
Hi, who's this?
This is Sherry.
Sherry.
Sherry, as in Shari?
Oh, no.
No, as in the sweet wine.
As in sweet, yes, sweet and dry, as in humor.
Yes, we got it.
No kidding. Sheeri.
Sheerry.
I got it. Yeah, that's good. Where you from, Sherry?
I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
I got a gal in
Yeah.
Kalamazoo. Yeah, so?
Why did you call
So how
us?
come you got nothing better to do than call us, Sherry?
Oh gosh. Well, here's my concern.
Yeah.
I have an '87 Mercury Topaz, red. Now we're somewhat concerned here because it seems to be experiencing intermittent hot flashes.
Well, it's at the right age.
This is what happens. It has a temperature gauge that goes from C to H, and then it spells out normal in between.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see where it is at any time.
Yeah.
Recently, we took a weekend road trip of about 300 miles, and the gauge stayed on M during most of the trip.
I got it. I'm drawing a picture. I have it.
Okay. Then arriving into the city of our destination, it climbed to A, then to L, and then it redlined into H as we reached our destination.
Okay.
Okay, now these last few moments here, how many moments were they from M to H?
From M to H,
How much
rose
time?
very steadily.
20 minutes?
No. Just within a couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes.
You were stopped or nearly stopped when this happened.
Yes.
Good,
We had been cruising along, and then we were nearly stopped.
Yeah, okay.
Then we let it sit overnight, and we checked the new belts. We had just put new belts on. We checked those, and they seemed to be tight.
Good.
And then the next day, in preparation for the return trip, we took it for a 20-mile drive, and we tried to force it to overheat. And we turned the heater on, we turned the heater off. We drove it in third instead of fourth.
You should have left the emergency brake on. That would have forced it to overheat.
Well, no, we didn't do that.
Okay.
But then again, when we stopped at a light, it redlined again.
Right.
Right? We let it idle for a little while. It went back down to M.
It did.
It did.
Idling, just sitting there. In other words, you remained at the light.
Yeah. Well, we pulled into a parking lot and sort of watched it for a while.
Yeah. They made believe it was a light, a full light.
Right.
Okay, so it went way up, and then as you continued to just sit there with the engine running, it came down to M again.
Yeah.
I wish you hadn't said that.
Well, no, I have a theory I have theories for everything. There are no curves that you can throw.
This is like the roof snow.
For which I can't devise a theory.
Okay, now it goes on. The ride home was uneventful. It stayed on R and M most of the way
because
home.
you were driving at high speed.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And then on the way to work Monday morning, the temperature gauge and the gasoline gauge surged at the same time, going, from the M.
Ooh. Yet a third theory is coming up.
And
then back down. Now, that was the only time we ever noticed that.
Wait a minute. Now, give us this last one again. This throws a hooker into the whole theory 1 and theory 2 are now down the tubes based on this.
Right. We were avidly watching the gauge on the way to work.
You're watching the gauges and you're on the way to work.
On the way to work.
You and your husband, you work at the same place?
No, I take him to work in the morning.
You take him to work?
Like your wife does to make sure you go.
Yes, me and my dog and I.
Well, I get lost a lot of times.
She's noticed.
Okay, so you're both going to work. You're taking him to work. You're driving.
He's driving.
And he's driving, and you're watching the gauges.
Yes.
So they both pegged out.
Right.
Now,
we stopped at
be
a red
specific
light,
here.
and we watched the temperature gauge and the gasoline gauge surge up together up to H and then back down to M, steadily.
And the gas gauge went up to full and back down to half.
It went from approximately a quarter to half.
No kidding.
Oh, wait, it didn't go all the way to full.
You know what the saddest thing about this whole story is?
That we don't know the answer.
No, that she's already told us what color the car is.
They already know the color.
And I can't say what color is this car. Gee,
Well,
this is good.
Nor can we ask her, was the tank more than half full? We know that too.
She told us that too.
Gee, Sherry, you've taken all the fun out of this.
You have.
Okay, and then it goes on just a little bit more.
There's more to the story.
Oh, good. I hope the next piece will pull it all together for us.
Okay, it was okay for a couple of days, and then I noticed it again after driving for a little while. I stopped at a red light, and it went up to H, and then went back down to M.
And how about the gas gauge?
The gas gauge didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything that time.
So at the end of this long story, we were wondering if this is something serious or just a sort of an auto-menopausal kind
How
of
the hell would we know?
I'm of the belief that the car is in fact not overheating.
Well, that's what I say, too.
Maybe.
Well,
but that could change.
It's absolutely not overheating, but that could change.
Now, it's been at least a week and nothing at all has happened.
Yeah, see, I mean, the fact that the gas gauge and the temperature gauge went up together indicates that there's really nothing wrong with the cooling system at all, but the problem is in the gauges themselves.
Right. And as a matter of fact, did you ever venture to open the hood when the needle was all the way up?
You nuts.
To
We
H?
did.
Was the
We
electric
did.
fan running?
The fan was running, yes.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Okay. Now, my guess is that's working properly, and what you probably need is a new temperature gauge.
Oh.
That's my guess.
What about the gas gauge?
And one of those too.
Well, how about an estrogen gas treatment?
Estrogen could do it. I mean, it could be that.
It could do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that the gauges themselves are gonzo, or there's some common fault.
But what you need to
being
do
the
is
ground
get it to
somewhere.
your mechanic and have that mechanic make sure that, in fact, the fan goes on at the right time. He'll put his thermometer in there, and he'll watch the thing go up and go cuckoo. He may, in fact, want to change the sending unit in the engine that sends the signal to the gauge. It's called the temperature switch.
Okay.
Or the TSU.
Right. So he may want to change the temperature switch, and then he may find out that doesn't fix it. And when he discovers that, he'll take the dashboard apart and replace your gauge. But you have to have a gauge that works.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't do anything stupid like break the glass and bend the needle.
No, you wouldn't
and
want
set
to
it where you want it to
No, you wouldn't
be.
want to do that. My brother did that, but
No.
you don't want to do that.
No, you wouldn't want to do that.
You guys are terrific.
Well,
I just want to let you know that, and we're not related.
We aren't?
This is a disclaimer. We're not related at all. You guys are great.
Thanks, Aunt Sherry.
Great talking to you.
Thanks for your call.
Speaking of which, do you
Bye-bye.
know the temperature
Bye.
sending unit was named for an old Chinese philosopher? You
Who?
knew that, Lao.
Tzu. 1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Joe from Kingston,
Hey, Joe. Kingston. Kingston, like we know Kingston. Kingston, Rhode Island.
Pennsylvania.
Of course.
Pennsylvania. Are you a Quaker or an Amish?
No. I don't see them driving cars too much.
You don't listen to the radio either.
I just realized now we have, over the years, we have managed to alienate just about every possible listening group in the entire country and some overseas.
Oh, most overseas.
But if we started talking bad about the Amish,
how would they know?
How would they know?
Right. I understand they're ready to give up.
I understand they are. Anyway, Joe,
Okay.
what's up?
Well, I need your assistance. My
Okay.
brother-in-law, 4 months ago.
4 months ago, brother-in-law.
Yeah, he parked his '83 Honda Civic in my backyard.
Uh-oh, I can see it
And
coming.
it's still there.
Still there.
Okay.
It's a good thing it wasn't my brother's backyard, because you know where it would be now.
It would be in the crusher.
Where
it's in the
It'd be better in
crusher.
his backyard than mine.
He's what?
It would be better in his yard than mine.
Why, pray tell, is it in your yard and not his?
Well, he had it. He lives in Maryland, and he got a notice on his car. It was going to be towed as an abandoned vehicle.
Right.
So one Friday evening, Saturday morning, actually, 4:00 in the morning, he drove it back home.
Uh-huh.
But
So
he
you
parked it in front
knew.
of his mother's house, and she said, "Get it out of here," because he's already got a TVR and a Honda motorcycle sitting in the yard.
So, I
And
mean,
she
he
said, "Not
knew when he
another one."
drove it to your house that he was planning to leave it there.
But he comes and visits it regularly.
Visits
And
it?
parks
But did you know that he was coming?
Yeah.
And why didn't you move?
It's his house.
Oh, it's his house. Oh, I see. He owns the house that you live in.
Yeah, but I have this car sitting in the backyard.
Tough.
And I figured, well, I listen to you guys. You guys come up with so many creative ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And
I'm glad you called, Joe. Do you pay him rent to live in this house?
yes,
A fair market rent or below market?
fair.
So you don't have to live in this house. You could live in any comparable house for the same amount of money.
Well, yeah, but then it would. If you're suggesting moving, then I'd have to move stuff, and I don't want to move
Well,
stuff.
you wouldn't have to move the car.
Well, it'd be easier to move the car.
Well, first of all, this isn't your problem.
Well, wait a minute. It might be his problem.
No, it isn't.
It
This-
depends on whether or not this brother-in-law is his brother's wife or his wife's brother?
Yeah, who is he?
My wife's brother.
It's
your problem.
No, it's her problem. It's your wife's problem.
Yeah, well, you know who gets the detail of fixing the problems.
Oh, so she wants it out of there.
Well, she says she doesn't care, but when I cut the grass, you have to move the car to get the weeds that grow up around it and, through the floorboards and stuff.
Well, I think your brother-in-law needs behavior modification therapy. I mean, you can't just go sprinkling junk boxes around like my brother does. Here, hold on to my car for like a decade or two.
Well, that was my next option, is drive it up to your garage.
No.
Give you the title.
I mean, he obviously has another vehicle that he's driving.
Yes.
He thinks at some point, maybe 5 or 10 years from now,
he might need this car.
He might need this one.
He is emotionally attached to this car. It's got 225,000 miles on it. Now, the engine does run very well, but body-wise, there's...
Yeah, I mean, how well could it run with 200? I mean, how much longer could it have left?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It can sit there forever.
He needs help.
Mess with a person's
He needs
feelings.
help letting go. Here's what you do. He doesn't need the whole car. He needs a memento. Break off the rear view mirror.
And mail it to him.
And if you're going to help with the separation process. I think every week you should break off a pice of the car
mail it to
him.
Say, please kiss this goodbye.
And eventually, the whole car will be where? Back at his house.
So just give him a part and get rid of the car.
A part a week.
Yeah, but I think he needs help. He has separation anxiety.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to let go.
This is definitely one of those things that
Well, he has LJS, I think. Latent Junkman syndrome. Because I think people that do this want really to be junkmen.
It might be.
I think so. My brother would be a junkman if my brother hadn't been exposed to the education and breeding that he had. Today, he would be a junkman.
Yeah.
I'm not that there's anything wrong with it, and I mean it in the best possible way.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's true, because there are various kinds of people who collect stuff. And
most of them are junkmen.
No, but I don't collect stuff. It's stuff that has become a part of my life, and the separation is the problem.
It just so
Junkmen
happens...
go out and find other people's memories.
No, that's the next. That's phase 2. Phase 1 is not being able to get rid of stuff. Phase 2 is going out and actually seeking out other people's what?
Junk.
Everything you have is what?
Junk.
Well, if I sprinkled it with rock, salt, and lime, would it rust into the ground any quicker?
You could do that. You could do that.
I thought about that.
Don't mess with it, Joe.
No,
Don't
I'll tell
mess
you,
with it.
there are consequences far beyond our ability to comprehend them.
That's right.
Because this could affect international relations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could have a latent Ted Kaczynski on your hands there.
Yeah, you don't know what. I mean, it could
don't
affect
wanna
the whole
get those
relationship
people angry.
with your mother-in-law and your brother-in-law and eventually your wife, and your own kids could grow up to hate you. So I would just wait till the car rusts away if that's what it has to be done. But put your foot down. No more than 3 cars. See you later, Joe.
All right, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's happened again.
What?
You've squandered another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, bongo boy, Frogman, cute Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our theme music is by David Dog Grisman, and our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from the Yellowstone, Raisin Scone, Sugar Cone, Provolone, Cote de Rhone, and Mascarpone, Titan and Tone, is John Bugsy Waller.
Ooh, yes.
And you should see him. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician
and WBUR in Boston.
And even though someone at the Pew Charitable Trust is forced to walk the plank every time we say it, this is NPR.
Support for NPR and the following message come from Green Mountain Energy. Now you can power the things you love with 100% clean wind and solar electricity without changing a thing about how you live.